yet. So before we start, do you have any questions?
No, I'm just looking forward to diving in and helping out.
Okay, awesome. So I just sent you the chat, the link via chat. So when you get it, if you can just open that up on a browser and then start sharing. Don't click on anything once it's loaded. Just start sharing your screen, please.
Sure. Okay.
All right, awesome. So imagine that you are a frequent publisher of content at Mercer and that you're curious to learn more about whether your content is coming up in searches or if people are viewing and downloading your work. So you've been granted access to Mercer Brain to manage the content that you've published. So without clicking on anything, what are your first kind of thoughts when you enter this site?
I mean, it's not very flashy. It's just very kind of plain. I felt like I was just kind of trying to find my home base on the dashboard. Like, okay, so I published something, like what are these initial stats that are popping up at me? What do they mean?
Did you understand what they meant, or were you trying to understand, or do you find them useful, not useful?
So I think published documents, to me, that means like I uploaded 4 pieces and I'm about to kind of get high level stats on those. Search appearances would be like how many times all 4 of those showed up in search. 40 total downloads. I guess some of these pages maybe had a download option, had a web form that people used and they downloaded. That makes sense. I would definitely want to be seeing that. Non-live documents, I'm guessing like those might be things that are like in my drafts that I haven't uploaded yet. Maybe I'm still working on those. Yeah, I think this makes sense. This is pretty clear.
Okay.
Oh, here's how I would upload. Okay. So now this wouldn't give me information about like how many people have uniquely viewed my web pages or my content, right? This is just sort of like how many times this has come up in search.
If you wanted, so without clicking on anything yet, if you wanted to find that information, where would you think to look?
I'd love to see it here, just because that's like a lot of the times that we're being asked, like how many unique views have we had on certain pieces of content? Like it'd be kind of cool to see like an overview, like it's kind of odd to see to see the overall stats like this, like all combined, assuming that that's what I'm looking at. Like I would like to see it like item by item. Like this would be like my, my latest, I don't know, article on transformation. And I know that that's what that piece is. And this is how many times like transformation has come up in the search. And, like I'd be looking for that, but maybe that's in some of these other areas.
So got it. So you're really wanting to see piece of content by piece of content, the stats that way. So is this roll up helpful to you at all, or no, it's not helpful?
It's helpful to me when I'm asked by my boss, like what traffic have we driven overall? Like I could see like a page like this being really helpful. Like if I'm just very focused on one certain area of study and I'm looking at that in that way, I think this would be fine. So like if I'm just like, if my user status just shows all of career, which would make sense. So like anything that I publish under US careers is what's going to show up here. That'd be really helpful to be able to see that overall. But then me as a marketer, I'd want to see it, item by item, so that I can kind of get a sense of, which pieces are more which pieces are getting the most visibility.
Okay. And I'm sorry, so in which instances would you want to see it rolled up, like by all of career? When you were like, is it when you were kind of like presenting to your manager, or?
when I'm presenting to my manager.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's more, and how often does that happen? So is that more, it seems like that's more of a secondary need.
Yeah, it's more like a quarterly kind of update.
Okay.
That you would be asking, like, hey, I need to get these overall stats and I need to share them with business leaders. So then, either myself or my colleague Jennifer Gong would be pulling that for him. We report to Peter Bigman.
Okay, gotcha. All right, great. So I wanted to direct your attention to the links at the top, so the home, statistics, library, and workbench. Without clicking on anything, what would you think you would find if you clicked on statistics?
That's where I would think I would find kind of what I've been asking, not asking for, but some of the things that I've been mentioning. Show me my web stats, how many total visits, unique visits, downloads, anything of that nature, like basic web stats.
But per piece of content, correct?
Per piece of content.
Okay. All right. So why don't you go ahead and click there, and then we'd just love your feedback on this page.
Sure. See overall how you and your documents are performing in Mercer Brain. Okay. So this is like the same as the dashboard with overall your reader's interest. So this is of the documents that I've published, people are searching for finance and human resources. That's like what they're interested in. And then this is the total views that these documents have. I'm calling them documents, but I'm really thinking of them as web pages, have generated. Unique monthly. Yeah, I mean, this is what I would be looking for like that high level. And then it would be really awesome to see it based on individual pieces of content as well.
Yeah, okay.
So these, like, your reader's interests, are these like, where is that pulling from? I'm just curious. Like, are these keywords that are related to finance or related to human resources, and that's sort of what that may be reflecting there?
What are your thoughts? What would you assume if you were just looking at the site without me here?
I would guess, just from looking at this, it's some sort of an aggregate of what the readers are interested in. So maybe this is like a compilation of keywords related to finance, keywords related to human resources, and then this somehow aggregate and showing this to me.
And that would be, and based on the people that have read the 4 documents that you published?
Right.
Exactly. And then would it be, are you assuming that it would be based on their searches or something else?
I think it would be based on their searches, but it could also be based on, like, the keywords that I incorporated. Well, I guess it's the same thing. So yeah, it would be based on their searches. Because if I did the thing by my keywords, they're going to find us in the right way. So yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Would that be helpful for you to see? So your reader's interest?
Yeah.
Is that something that you might find useful or not useful?
I do think so. Yeah.
Okay.
I think that's pretty useful.
Okay. I'm sorry, I can't answer your question. I don't know how it's derived because I wasn't involved in the design, but it's something that other people have questioned as well. And so it seems like that just needs to be more clear on what that is.
What would be really cool to see would be like the keyword data here. So like your reader's interest, like all of the, the keyword, like what did they search on? What are the search terms? And what percentage does that make? And maybe that's what this is, but with only just 2 here, just as the example, it just sort of leads you to believe that it's some sort of aggregate of information, where it would be really helpful to kind of see it at a little bit more granular level.
Mm-hmm. So to see the keywords that they searched on before landing on your documents.
Yeah, I think that would be helpful here. Kind of depending on what, I guess it depends on what the content is.
Right, because would you be able to see that as a roll-up, or would you, because if you publish 4 documents that maybe they were,
totally
they
different.
were,
yeah,
then it wouldn't really, that would be more applicable down at that individual content level that you were talking about, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
okay.
No, it's true. And I think maybe that's from having a little bit of the confusion, like, as I think about it, like from the, from that higher level, I guess it does make sense to aggregate it. I guess maybe just more definition around, what these are made out of, that would be helpful. So that when, when I do go to communicate it to my manager, for example, of the 4 pieces that I uploaded this last quarter, here's what people are really interested in. And here's, how I know that they were interested. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yeah. And so so it sounds like it would make sense kind of at that roll-up level, but also at the individual document level.
I think it would be really helpful. True? Yeah, to have that all in one place would be awesome.
Okay. Okay. Great. Great. Anything else on this page that you would find useful or not useful, or that you would recommend for improving it?
I'm guessing this is like up 15% from last month. I don't want to scroll down because I bet we got to talk through that page, part of the page.
Oh no, you can scroll. You can talk about anything.
Okay, yeah, I'm going to scroll down and just.
Yeah.
The simplest way to compare and track your progress in various categories. All right, so I'm looking at total downloads, so I can kind of see how that goes. Oh, here's appearances in search. Yeah, a view like this is really helpful. I like this. Trending documents. In the last month, these are your top 2 best performing documents. Okay, that's cool. I like being able to kind of identify that on the document level. Top countries. Yeah, so this is more of like that web stats that I was looking for, like, who's looking at the pages that I've created, looking at it by country level makes sense.
Does country level make sense for you, and that's something that you would find useful or not? And then are there any other kind of rankings that you'd want to see?
So for my specific role, I'm really just concerned about the US, but I do find it helpful to get a sense of if people are viewing it in other countries. I think I'm fine with being able to see that. I'm trying to think if there's like any other breakdowns that would be helpful. Like if there's some way to look down here, trending documents. What I'm thinking about is like, what kind of stats do I get right now from, the web projects team when I ask them for data, or the web reports team. Do we capture any information about the audience, like in addition to like what country they're located in? Like I'd be wondering, like, I'm guessing they pull that based on the IP. Like if there's other information that can be referenced doing that, like that would be interesting to see here. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know what we pull, but what are some of the things that you'd be interested in? I guess, and also, from a internal versus an external perspective.
Right.
Like internal, I'm sure we can pull like whatever the HRIS data is, so like line of business, maybe level, probably office location. externally, I don't know what we can grab.
Yeah, no, that makes level overview. I don't think there's nothing specific's jumping out at me that's
Okay.
missing from this. You know, I think about things like, you know, what industry, for example, is my content focused on, you know, stuff like that, but it's more of like a category. It's not really what we're looking at on this page.
Okay. Okay. Is increasing readership of your documents important to you? Is that something that you need to focus on in your work?
Yes, definitely.
Okay. Do you feel confident in knowing how to do that, or would you find tips on increasing readership helpful?
And if we're talking about increasing readership like externally versus internally, I think it's like, you know, two different things. I know what I would do, kind of depending on what my initial approach was. I don't know if you pull in, like, if social media information, like social data might be something interesting to pull into this, to kind of help with the reach and to promote some of these pieces. Is that kind of what you mean? Like what we would do to increase the reach, like paid media versus like organic social media?
I wasn't thinking about paid. I was kind of thinking about, you know, hey, if you add more tags, or, you know, you know, if you, you know, change the summary a little bit, those kinds of tips. I wasn't thinking about pulling in social media, but what social data. But what can you explain more about what you meant by that?
Sure. I hope I'm being helpful and not.
Yes, you are, totally.
Because I'm just sort of like digesting this, you know, it's like, like social media, I'm thinking, you know, what we usually get, but it's hard to get on an individual article level, just because of the way everything is set up right now. And I'm talking to our US contact about that. I just don't know kind of what's going to be decided upon in terms of how they're pulling those reports, but it would be really interesting to be able to see on an individual item. So, you know, I created a web page and now I'm promoting it on LinkedIn, for example. I want to see what, you know, how many clicks I received, you know, how many downloads on that page I received, kind of based on that social media campaign, if you will.
Got it. Okay.
That would be really helpful. Right now, the way that we bucket things is it's like you have a specific campaign, but it's high level. And that high level campaign may have several different assets that roll into it. So there may be several different web pages that you're promoting under that campaign. And we really just get only the data on that campaign level. It's harder nowadays. I don't know the ins and outs as to why, but it's harder to get those individual asset level data, you know, like, so that we can get a better understanding of which pieces, you know, worked better, you know, which ones kind of gave us the biggest bang for, you know, the amount of time that we spent, or, you know, is there things that we could be doing with those individual items? Like right now we'll look at something and we'll update the visuals, for example. We'll say, okay, you know, we need to refresh what we're, you know, putting out there. Let's take a look at the messaging and reframe it. Let's look at the hashtags that we're using. Do we want to kind of take a look at that on an ongoing basis? But we're just sort of doing that based on what we're seeing, but not necessarily because we're getting this like really clear report at that level.
Yep. Okay. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. All right. Cool. Any other feedback on this page before we move on?
You know, from an internal perspective, just wondering, I never really see data on like what's being promoted internally. So like the things that are being viewed on MercerLink, for example, it's just something to think about. That may be helpful for somebody to kind of see how, you know, pieces are being consumed by our internal colleagues. You know, I think a lot of times we put stuff up there, you know, on various pages, and you just kind of assume that the right people are accessing that. Like maybe you post on communities and you drive to it and that sort of thing. But beyond that, we're not really looking at that data. Me personally, probably not the most useful in the role that I'm in, but I could see that being helpful.
Okay, so just to make sure I'm understanding, so when you post a piece of content on MercerLink, being able to have kind of the data that you're seeing here, but no matter where you post. So maybe it could be on MercerLink, maybe it could be on Mercer.com, wherever. So wherever you're kind of posting both internally and externally.
Exactly, would be really interesting.
Yeah. Okay, great. Yeah, that's really good feedback.
Sure.
Okay, cool. Anything else?
No, I think that's everything. This is really straightforward. Nope, nothing more on this page.
Okay. All right. So again, without clicking anything yet, if you scroll to the very top, so the next item, so to the right of statistics, yeah. What do you think you would find if you clicked there on library?
So, just a quick idea, and then I'll tell you what I think I see in the library. So on this page, it would be interesting to be able to click into these and to like dig deeper into the data. Like have this broken down, like search appearances, and just somehow give me more information about like what that is an aggregate of.
Yeah.
I think that'd be really helpful. But
yeah, totally. Thank you for adding that. Yep.
Yep, no problem. For the library, I just expect that to be probably my 4 documents that I uploaded, or my 4 web pages, or whatever it is. They're going to be housed here. And that's really it, almost just like a repository.
Okay. Would you expect to see both your published documents and your unpublished documents there, or would you expect only published and for unpublished to live somewhere else?
That's a good question. I think if I already uploaded it, I'd want to see it in the library. If I'm like, I'm not sure what this workbench is. Part of me feels like the workbench may be where I'm like, that's where I would want to see what I haven't uploaded into the system yet, or I'm still working on it. I'm not sure what this is, but I'm maybe jumping ahead. I think I would just want to see whatever it is that I uploaded in the library. Okay. I don't know how that, I don't know what the difference would be.
Okay. Yeah, so if you want to go ahead and click on library, you can tell me if that was what you're expecting or not.
Very cool.
And obviously, so the data isn't correct in this prototype, so I know it says only 4 documents, but I know there's more here, but
yeah,
the numbers aren't quite right, so.
No worries. Oh, okay, I see. All right, publication type. Oh, maybe it doesn't work, but, oh, this one does, okay. Okay, all right, client ready, internal copyright permission required. Yeah, I like this. All right, that makes sense now. So like it's been uploaded and you've given it like a category or type, and that's being housed there. So that's useful. I like that it kind of gives you a little bit of data, even, whether it's right or wrong in here. That's, this is just for a sample, but like that would be really helpful to see that little high level information as you look at your library.
What's some of the other kind of data that you'd want to see here in your library?
Yeah, I was going to say, like, I'd want to see if it's something that's internal or external, which you guys are capturing here. Copyright permission, I'm not sure. Requires customization, I'm not sure. Can I click on this action piece? I'm just curious.
Yeah, I think you have to click at the top of choose one, the one that's open. You have to click to close that one first. Yeah, so sorry, the menu that's open where you see, click on that. And now I think you can click on to open that. Cool.
Okay. feel like this could actually like house the full document right on here. It's kind of neat. And copy the URL if it's something that's external. Or I guess if it's a PDF, you can just like download it right here. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if country is necessarily what I would put here, but I think kind of just depending on what people's unique needs are. But I just think I would be looking more for, I mean, this is helpful to give you a sense of sort of, you know, which country is ranking the highest in views. But I'd love to see like more of the overall kind of unique views, total downloads, like that sort of information would be helpful, like kind of what you have on the other page already.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, this to me is like that central repository for all of the pieces that I would have worked on and published. So I don't think there's anything in here that I would. No, I'd be curious if this would be a library of everything. So like if I'm like, just depending on like what user level I am, if it's helpful to kind of see what other people within my category are publishing, and if that would live here. So like if I'm, you know, I'm a US careers representative, you know, marketer, and there's going to be web pages that I would be creating, and I would want to be incorporating them and adding them into this library, you know, checking the statistics regularly to kind of see how those, you know, pieces are doing. You know, if there's also pages that, you know, another colleague of mine may be working on a global level or on an industry level, but still within career, it'd be interesting to see those in the library and see how they compare to one another, or if maybe there's something that may be interesting to leverage so that I could cross-promote that content and vice versa. Because we don't always know what others are working on. And this may be a nice place to do that if it's categorized in the right way. Just a thought.
Yeah, no, that makes total sense. Where do you think you would find other documents that were not, that you didn't publish? So you were saying that you thought maybe they would be in the library, or?
I'm thinking like they would live under the library. So like I have an access to this tool that would have, you know, US global content, and I'd be able to come in here and I'd be able to see everything that falls under that category. So that I would be able to kind of see, you know, all pieces that are getting created as they're being created or being uploaded or ready to share, whether internally or externally. This may be a place to have that kind of content.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
And okay, and then would you then, okay, so you'd want to see all of it like within a certain kind of category, and then would you also want to see just the documents that you've published, kind of separate them out, or does that not matter so much?
Yes, I'd love to see those carved out separately.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Because I'd be able to see, all right, you know, this is the piece that I wrote on, I don't know, on pay equity that, you know, rolls up into career, and I don't know, it got 100 views, and it's, yeah, I don't know, it's doing really well. And then I kind of, you know, scroll around and I can just kind of see, oh, there's another piece that somebody else wrote, you know, maybe on a global level that maybe I wasn't aware of you know, for some reason. I got 1,000 hits. I wonder, let me read that piece. Maybe there's a way we can cross promote between the two of them. Or it's like a different angle. You know, I think a lot of the times I would look at this as like, maybe there's a different angle to a piece of content. So if it's on, you know, HR transformation, and I'm, you know, I'm working on a piece, I could kind of look at this and say, hey, you know, there's other articles that people are working on that are related to transformation. Here's high level stats so I can kind of see, you know, which pieces are getting more views than others or more downloads than others. I mean, we want to have a link in my content to go to that page, kind of help to drive traffic to it. Whereas there's just not an easy way all of the time for us to know what's being published by others. You know, it depends on what it is, or maybe it's something that's a little bit older. And that's something too, like I'm wondering, that's leading me to another line of thinking, is would this house potentially, you know, all content that's been published on .com or .us, you know, under a certain category, or would this just kind of start from new? You know, because that would be interesting to be able to see too. I don't know how much like backlog would be done, or you know what that date might be where we would start to have content in here. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's a great question. Yeah, that's a great question. I don't know if someone is going to take the time to add in all the content that's out there right now, or maybe, well, listen to me, I'm so old school. Is someone going to enter it? I mean, maybe there's a way to index it, you know, automatically. So I actually don't know, but that's a really good question.
Yeah, I mean, AI is a cool thing, but, you know, but maybe there's like a, you know, a date stamp or something like that that maybe they'd consider pulling in. I wanted to throw that out there because that might be something to consider. Probably wouldn't be everything, but.
Right.
You
know,
so
here.
Or, I don't know.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. So then here, you'd want to see a date stamp, so the published date?
Yes, very helpful.
Okay. All right.
Because, you know, as we're generating content, you know, we can kind of go to this and think about, oh, you know, there's a piece on AI publication. It was published last month. That's really interesting. Yeah. I'm working with somebody that's creating something on such and such. I really should be linking to that too. You know, like that sort of thing.
Got it. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. So imagine though that you did want to find who else wrote something, say on finance. You know, what other pieces there were out there that you didn't write. Where would you go in the site? So knowing, I did hear what you were saying about, you were thinking initially that it would be under library, but if you didn't find it under library, where would your next thought be to go?
Just to go to this workbench. I'm really not sure what this is.
Okay.
Because like my first thought when I see workbench is like that's the place that I would go to upload my content. And I sort of end there, but then I see like I saw this little thing that means notifications. I'm like, I wonder what that is. Resolve your unpublished documents. Okay, so this is where all of like my unpublished documents are that I still need to maybe work on or do something with. So, okay. So for this first one, like money and education, this is example. It says one critical field is missing. Please resolve the main error in order to publish the document. It's that looking at the fields that would be completed to upload a piece of content into Mercer Brain so that it's sort of like a living, breathing repository in here. It's a field for that. Not looking at a field that would push this live. Like this is only looking at pieces that are already live, right? Am I reading into this too much?
So wait, sorry. So you're thinking that this piece of content is already live, and there's an error on one of the fields. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Like, is there an error on one of the fields in the way that I'm uploading this into Mercer Brain? Is that what that's saying? So like this is already.
Is that what yeah.
Yeah. So I'm just wondering, like, okay, so like I have this money and education, I don't know, web page that I created, and I want to now add that into Mercer Brain. I mean, this is, I don't know. I'm just not sure like what this means by field missing. If I click on it, let's see if maybe it. can edit the attributes associated with your document. The more detail you add, the more likely it is to be found by others. To publish a document, you must at least complete all of the marked fields with an asterisk. Okay, so, all right. The attributes. All right, so there's a document that I want to make sure that I'm adding into Mercer Brain. This is the title. There's some criteria I have to follow. These are the tags that I would want to include to make it easy for people to search. Here's a summary about the page, or about the document that I'm uploading. The author. Author might be something interesting to have on that library page too, just so you kind of have a sense of who's authoring those pieces. Publish date, set library. Okay.
What is your page? Makes sense or not, or?
Yeah, it makes sense. I'm just wondering, like, where would I make the upload on here? Like, is this is where I would actually, like, if I go to home, that's where I would upload it.
Yeah, you can actually go through, that was going to be my next task to have you do if you want to go through the upload process.
Yeah, that might help, because I feel like I'm a little, like I might have skipped a step or something.
Yep. Yeah, so you can click and show me how you would upload a document. So just remember, these are just flat screens, so you're not actually going to be able to. Yeah.
I'd click on here, I'd find the document in a little library.
Yep, you can actually click on it. It'll open up a.
Cool. Yep, and then that'll give me, like, you know, wherever I'm going to be pulling it from. Yeah, that's super straightforward.
Okay. Yep, you can continue clicking through. Yep.
Maybe it wants me to open that one.
Yeah, it does. Sorry. For clicking on it. It just looks like your mouse is moving around. So yeah, you're forced to upload that one.
All right, so that one's been uploaded.
So talk me through what you're seeing here and what you'd want to do.
So what I'm trying to do here is say, okay, like I could see that I just tried to upload this. So now I want to hit like enter or like upload, like to make that happen. I want to get out of the screen.
Okay.
And I can't. So I'm just going to, just one more time just to see if, oh, it doesn't want to let me go back in. Yeah, but at that point, when I went there, I selected from that index of, like, you know, the PDF that I wanted to upload. And then I got that screen that said, okay, that upload was completed. I want to get out of there. I want to like hit like okay somewhere.
Yeah.
So that I feel like I uploaded it.
Yeah. Okay. And yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So imagine that that it just closed, that you were able to close it. Where would you go next? Like, do you think that your article has been published at this point, or would you need to go somewhere else? Like, what's your thought process?
So right now, like my document's been put into the library. I know that it's there.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd want to see like my article in here. So I say, okay, I did upload it now into the library. And now I know I need to get into this workbench to make sure that like my titles and all of that stuff and my summary is right. I kind of want to get to there from here. Because I want to see
from the library. Okay.
Yeah, so like I uploaded it, you know, off of that homepage. I know that it's been added. I want to see it now. I want to make sure that it's been uploaded somewhere. I want to go to the library and see it there. Or maybe I want to go to the, I don't know, maybe I guess it would be in the workbench. And then I'd have to click in here and make sure that I update like the title and the summary and all of that. There's like a step that I'm missing. Like I want to go to the workbench first, and I want to add my title and my summary and all of that, and then I want to
Mhm.
upload it. That
Okay.
feels more logical to me.
Mhm.
Does that make, yeah, I hope I'm making sense there.
It totally, yes. Yep, this is totally
Okay.
making sense. Yep, and it's something that we've heard before too. So you're right.
All right, good.
Yeah, yeah. So, so when you click in there, so imagine that. So it's in your workbench and it has an error. So if you click into it, so back to that page that you were on, what are your thoughts about having all of this content, so the title, the tags, the summary, being brought in automatically? Is that helpful to you or not helpful? Like, do you find that it would make uploading documents more efficient or not more efficient?
I think it would make it more efficient, and I would want like the capability to edit it. You know,
Okay.
the title probably is not going to change. The tags are probably not going to change, although unless I have something else that I want to include for some reason, but I don't think that would change. That may even be like something that I would see and say, hey, that didn't pull something in that I expected it to. Am I missing something? It might prompt me to look back at my content. In the summary, I might want to craft something for that. That's a little more customized, but it would be nice to have a starting point, you know, if that's like the first paragraph or whatever it would be.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you find the idea of the workbench where files live that either that haven't been unpublished or they have errors? Do you find that makes sense? And then, so if you had uploaded a document and it didn't have any errors, so it had automatically been tagged, and the summary and the title and everything had been put in, and the system didn't note any errors. Would you want that to go into your library for you to then publish, or would you want it to still be in the workbench as kind of like a reminder for you to kind of go in and just double check everything?
That's a good question. If they're in Workbench, they're not yet published. They maybe have an error or something like that. Yeah, I would want to be able to review whatever it is, like error or not. Like even if this is like beautiful, I would want to see, you know, all of this. Maybe make an edit if I want to. Like I want to customize it, and then I want like the power to hit publish. When I hit publish, it'll let me. Yeah.
Okay. All right, great.
It feels like, okay, like I've reviewed everything, like it's ready to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. All right, cool. And then imagine that you had a file that was published, that you noticed that it just wasn't performing that well, and so you wanted to maybe go in and add some more tags to it, or change the tags. Where would you go to do that?
I would try to find it in the library. I'd say, okay. I think there was like a customize or something. Requires customization. I would try to go there. And I'd click on that, and I'd want to be able to customize it.
Okay.
Like I'd want to almost be like, when I click there, I want to be taken back to like a workbench-like place, like this, to just edit what I want.
Okay, that makes sense. Do you need to get that?
No, it's okay.
Okay. All right, and then let's see. So where would you go to find content that someone else maybe had uploaded to Mercer Brain on say finance?
Hold on 1 second. I just think. I wonder if I thought I answered my phone on mistake. That was really weird.
Oh.
I hate these soft phones.
I've never seen that before. It's pretty cool.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So if I was looking for content on finance, where would I want to go? So, like, I kind of go back to this, like, home being my dashboard, like, where I want to see it, like, carved out for me on those document levels, maybe, or even if it's on, like, a category level. Like, I kind of want to go home and, like, click on something and dig deeper to get to it. Like, right now, I guess only because it's the only place that I've seen finance before, I'd have to go to statistics, and then I'd try to find it on here. Maybe I could click and dig deeper.
Okay. Did you happen to notice the search bar at the top, at the very top of the page?
No, but now I want to look for it.
Okay. Okay.
Oh, I don't want to leave a comment.
Oh, you know what? Sorry, I think you have to click out of comment mode. It's just click the X at the top of the pink bar where it says comment mode. Yeah, there you go. Yep.
Yeah, no, the search, that makes sense. Yeah, I would just go up to the search and try to find it. And then I'd expect anything that kind of had that in the title to pop up.
Okay. Okay. You know, transformation or something like that. Imagine that you would search for HR transformation. You can't here, but just because you can't type anything in on this prototype. But is there anything that else that you'd want to see in the search results that would help you kind of narrow down and find what you're looking for?
One of the things that comes to mind is like who uploaded it. I think that would be really interesting to see, because then I have a sense of kind of where it's coming from. Like who wrote it, I think would be really helpful. Yeah, I like that it lets me know if it's client ready or not. Kind of takes the guesswork out of it. Oh, that just brought me right there. Okay.
Okay. Do you notice the oh, go ahead. Sorry. What?
No, I think that's it. I would just want to know like who wrote it and who uploaded it and when, if I was searching for something. You know what would be interesting too would to see like what tags they associated with that, like all of them. Be kind of cool to see. I don't know, it's kind of a lot of information to get in a small space, but something to think about.
Yeah, yeah. No, that makes sense. Okay. Great. Did you notice the percentage relevant?
Yes.
Yeah. Is that something that you would find useful or not useful?
I think it's helpful. So like if I type in something really broad like finance, like I'm expecting probably a lot of stuff to come up that's going to fall under that category. And I'm assuming like that percent relevant is kind of based on the tags and the title that's being used. So maybe as I scroll down, it may become less relevant. I don't know if any of this helped. I don't feel strongly either way about that. I think it's helpful. You know, I don't know how much value it's adding, because to me, it's already going to be sort of organized by relevance. So I'm backtracking a little bit. I don't necessarily think that it is useful to have it. To me, if I put in something to search, like I'm going to assume that everything that I entered in is what I'm getting. So if it's transformation, it's everything that has a tag for transformation in it is going to come up, and the most relevant, you know, is going to roll up to the top. And maybe as I scroll down, it's less relevant.
Right. Okay. can you just click on that, the 80% relevant, real quick? And then I know some of it's in Greek, but does the 2 bullet points, I mean, so it sounds like this, how Mercer Brain is determining relevancy is different than how you would assume. If Mercer Brain relevancy was based on these 2 bullet points, so based on a previous search subject or similar to your uploaded content, would that be useful or not?
Yes, very useful.
Okay.
Yeah. That would be really cool. Like similar to my uploaded content, that kind of brings me back to that piece of like, show me things that are related to what I'm doing that I maybe don't have, easy access to, or, I'm not aware of that I can leverage.
Okay.
Based on previous search subjects. I guess, I don't know, based on previous search subjects. It's helpful, but I would probably have to remind myself what that is in the tool. Okay. I definitely assume it's something different. I would assume it had something more to do with like what I typed in here and sort of my previous history within the tool or other content within the tool.
Okay, great. That is helpful.
Cool.
All right, so my final question, and then I have kind of like a wrap-up questionnaire. I'd love for you to name, just from what you've seen today, name 1 hit, 1 miss, and 1 wish for Mercer Brain.
Okay. A hit is like having, I love the library, like the ability to just sort of see everything here and just get like quick hit data. I like that. The miss, I think, is the way that you're actually uploading content. It's just not as intuitive as I would have thought. Kind of getting from the point of like that home page where I'm uploading that content and then being able to kind of make edits based on what you see in the workbench. If there's a disconnect there. A wish would be kind of having this categorized in a way that you can easily access the information and use it in different ways. So like it would be, anything that's on transformation or talent or, like whatever, like whatever categorization you have from a content perspective would be really helpful to have it categorized in the library. So you could start to bucket out what you're doing. Like in the US, we look at things on the COIs. So like with transformation, talent, and executive, it'd be really interesting to be able to see that broken out in my library if I wanted it to, if I categorized it that way, using a tag, for example, just having it broken out.
So kind of like filtering your library for certain themes.
Exactly.
Okay. So that's a great point. If you wanted to filter your library as this stands, do you see a way to filter your library right now?
I do. I didn't get into this before. I can't click on it, but that topic,
yeah, no.
I assume that would do it. I bet that would pull up all of that. So I have my wish. My wish has been granted.
Okay. Okay, so it seems like though it just wasn't that apparent in this design that that's how you could do that.
Yeah, this right here would be really nice to see right here.
Right.
Really.
Okay.
Would be really useful because I didn't think that was here or available yet, and it is.
Okay. Okay. All right. That's great feedback. Okay.
Or even if, if that's like a really hard ask, even if there's something more clear about like filters, and maybe this icon is helpful for other people and they know that that's what that is, but I don't know, it didn't jump out at me. Even if it just said like more filters or something like that here, that would have helped to be a little bit more intuitive for me.
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
Okay.
I mean, I went to it right away after you said that. Of course, like I was like, oh, I bet if I click here, it's going to do it, but it didn't jump out at me.
Yeah, yep. Okay, no, that's super helpful. Awesome. I know we're at time. I have a 10 statement questionnaire. Do you have like 5 minutes left, or do you have a hard stop?
No, I have another 5 minutes. I don't think I
Okay.
need till 11. I'm good.
Awesome. Okay, great. Thank you. So this won't take more than 5 minutes. So it's 10 statements that I'm going to read to you, and I'd love for you to rate each statement on a scale of 1 to 5. 5 means that you agree completely, and 1 means that you disagree completely. Make sense?
1 is agree, 5 is disagree.
No, 5 is agree, and 1 is disagree. Yep. So I always think of 5 like is greater is positive, and less is negative. So,
got it.
Yes. Okay?
Yeah.
All right. So number 1, I think that I would like to use this site frequently.
5, I agree.
Okay. I found the site unnecessarily complex.
Kind of in the middle on that one. I don't find it overly complex. I guess like I give it like a 3.
Okay. I never ask people to change their ratings, but I sometimes ask for additional follow-up just so I can see that back to the designers. Was there a certain part that was more complex than others? Standing out?
Yeah, like that disconnect between the upload and then like the ability to kind of make changes. That was a little unclear.
Yep. Okay. That makes a ton of sense. Yeah. All right. Number 3, I thought the site was easy to use.
I give it a 4.
Okay. Number 4, I think that I would need the support of a technical person to be able to use this site.
1. No, I think I could do this one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Number 5, I found the various functions in the site were well integrated.
4.
4, okay. Number 6, I thought there was too much inconsistency in the site.
3.
Okay. And again, can you just point out where you saw the inconsistency the most?
Yeah, I think kind of between like the workbench. It seems very separate than the rest of the site. Like it's just not integrated with everything else. I'd like easier ways to get to that functionality, if that's from the library or from the home when you're downloading. I think that would be really helpful. That sort of kind of puts me in the middle there. Not bad, just not great. You could figure it out. It's going to take you a little time.
Gotcha. Okay, super helpful. Thank you.
Sure.
All right, number 7, I would imagine that most people would learn to use this site very quickly.
I agree. 4.
Okay. Number 8, I found the system very cumbersome, very cumbersome to use.
No, I go like a 2.
2, okay. I felt very confident using the site.
Like a 4.
4, okay. And last, I needed to learn a lot of things before I could get going with the site.
Like a 3.
3, okay.
I had a lot of questions about like the fields, you know, like what does that mean? What was the word that I'm looking for? The relevance, you know, like what does relevance mean? Like the data that was on the homepage, like what exactly does this mean? Like I didn't think it took me a second to realize, okay, this is the aggregate of the information. And just some questions up front. Some of these things could probably just be solved if you had hoverovers for each one, just sort of giving a little more info.
Yep. Okay. All right. Yeah, that is super helpful. Again, thank you for following up on that one. Okay,
sure.
Great. Thank you for going 4 minutes over. I really appreciate it. I hate doing that to people, but it's hard when people are giving such great feedback. I hate cutting people off. So thank you so much. And yeah, if you have any follow-up questions or feedback, feel free to shoot me an email, or if you want to talk directly to Chris, that's fine too. Again, they're still really early in the design process, so it's never too late to provide additional feedback. So,
absolutely, will do. Thanks again.
Awesome. Thank you, Liz. Have a great week.
Thank you. You too.
All right. Thanks. Bye.
Bye.